Hello, and welcome to this link spring cycle, linking phenomena to claims, evidence, and reasoning. I'm Judy Phelan, and I'm happy to be working alongside you as you complete this cycle. This is the third cycle in a playlist for Inspire Science, grades 9 through 12. In the first cycle, we explored the basics of phenomena. Then we linked into phenomena as driving question boards. And today we'll be linking phenomena to claims, evidence, and reasoning. Now, what's all the buzz about science, phenomena, and claims, evidence, reasoning? That's a very good question. Keep in mind that all Inspire Science textbooks for grades 9 through 12 have been designed to help you implement the next generation science standards. And we'll be taking a look at what NGSS says about claims, evidence, reasoning, how claims, evidence, and reasoning is used in the Inspire Science program, and why it's important to use claim, reasoning, and evidence with your students. As you look in your book, you're going to see all three strands of the NGSS. You'll encounter the science and engineering practices, of which there are 8, the disciplinary core ideas, which fall into one of 4 categories: life science, earth space science, physical science, or engineering and technology. You'll also see the cross-cutting concepts, for which there are 7. Keep in mind that these practices and CCCs and disciplinary core ideas are the same categories in grades K through 12. On this cycle, we're focusing in on just one of the science and engineering practices, number 7, engaging in argument from evidence. So why would you be interested in doing claims, evidence, and reasoning in your classroom? One of the first reasons is that it supports students' cognitive development. We're not teaching 5th graders, and our students are not yet adults, and they're somewhere in the middle of those cognitive development phases. Remember back to our early education courses, where we learned Piaget's theory of cognitive development. And we knew that from infancy, we began making observations about phenomena around us. And as we move through the stages of development, we're able to make more and more sense of that. So as you link the phenomena in your Inspire Science program with claims, evidence, and reasoning, you are actually promoting your students' cognitive development in being able to think, explore, and figure things out. It is the development of knowledge and skills, and problem solving and reasoning, which helps students think about and understand the world around them. Let's review very quickly the goals of NGSS as agreed upon by the myriad of stakeholders who developed it. They wanted to create a research-based, up-to-date K-12 science standards. We've had ELA and math standards for a long time, but NGSS is our first stab at science standards. And the developers had the foresight to know that while the standards tell teachers what students ought to know and be able to do, they wanted to give you, the local educator, the flexibility to design experiences that can stimulate the interest of your students. So if you find that an Inspire Science phenomena might be better if it's changed to be a local phenomena, feel free to do that. The third reason they wanted to develop these standards, and the third goal, was to prepare students for college, career, and civic life. Now, not all our students will go to college. Not all of our students will enter lucrative careers such as plumbing or being an electrician or an HVAC owner, but all of them will be citizens, and they will all have a civic life. So as you think about another reason to use claims, evidence, and reasoning in your classroom, consider this. A common framework of science reasoning can support sound civic decision-making. CER can teach students to know and can empower them to evaluate strong and weak evidence, and thus in the process become better decision makers. And as students delve into CER, as you do as well, you will find that the reasoning part of CER asks students to draw upon scientific laws and theories that are already part of a common set of knowledge. And it is that framing of their reasoning around those laws and theories that allows them to take what previous generations have known, pass it with their peers in this generation, and be prepared to pass it on to the generation that comes next. What greater important role do teachers hold than in passing knowledge and civilization on from one generation to the next? So not only can we support our students' cognitive development through these adolescent years, and not only can we help prepare them to make sound and reasonable civic decisions, we'll find that CER is referenced in the next generation science standards, and it is listed as a way to help make sense of natural phenomena. Now, I went into the next generation science website, which you can reach at nextgenscience.org, and I searched for claim, evidence, and reasoning. And here are just two of the standards that I was able to pull up. There are many. And in your Tinker, you'll have a chance to look at that. But notice this one from high school life science or biology, and the one from high school physical science or physics, and what they both have in common with those bolded words that you see here on the screen: evidence, reasoning, and claims. There is nothing that says that it has to come in the order of CER. Your students may evaluate evidence first, which will lead them to a claim, and then some reasoning. So in educating all students in science and engineering and providing a base of knowledge for future citizens, future scientists, and future engineers, using claims, evidence, and reasoning might be a part of your classroom that you'll want to seriously consider. Now, we've looked at the Inspire Science tables of contents from all our high school books, and we already know that every unit and every module begins with an encounter of the phenomenon. But I want you to note in this cycle that every module also has a CER, a claim, evidence, and reasoning. And your students are going to see that in every print student edition that they encounter. They'll see it in the online edition as well. Each module starts with that claim, evidence, and reasoning. Perhaps more importantly, you'll see down at the bottom of the screen, pictorially shown the lessons that students can access to get evidence in their student edition to support their claim, which is the phenomenon question. If your students have an online account for their Inspire Science program, they'll be able to access from their student resources an electronic claim, evidence, reasoning, and they can fill that out and save it, or you can assign it and ask them to submit it back to you. And if you happen to be a teacher who does not have enough devices for every student, or every student in your classroom does not have an Inspire Science student account, please know that in your teacher account, there is a blank printable claim, evidence, reasoning template that you can open, print, and distribute to your students as a handout. Now, this cycle is going to follow the same steps that every cycle follows. You're watching the Spark video now. You'll be able to answer your reflection questions before you get started. And in your Tinker, you'll be able to actually experiment with claim, evidence, and reasoning. And I hope as you process the grow and reflect questions that you'll see that you have gained some skill in your craft of teaching. So figure out where you are in your curriculum, find the module that you're getting ready to teach, print out or assign that claim, evidence, and reasoning, and let's get started. I wish you the best of luck as you continue to grow your skill in teaching and using claim, evidence, and reasoning with your students.